talking about me.
No, man, everything about you, Ron. Is anybody that too? Oh, they can see us. Hello, people out there in the internet world. Hello, this is Ron.
Hi, how's it going?
Say hi, Ron. Internet, say hello to Ron.
Hello. So someone called me Ronald once. Once.
Is that irritating?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of people don't like their full names.
Yeah. But it's really irritating living in Japan having a name like that. Being Kev, but because
Kev.
Kev, yeah, but do you go by Kev?
No. I find it irritating.
Yeah, it's kind of Kev. But see, for me, I've never been Ronald. I've always been Ron, right?
Yeah.
And so when I go here and I do, like, for example, applications like banking, the gym membership or anything like that, I just naturally write Ron, right?
Yeah.
And of course, I'm from Canada, and in Canada or America or anywhere else, Ron would be acceptable because that's still my name.
Yeah.
Right? Because even though it's not my full name, it's still my name.
Oh no, but here they have no idea.
But it's here, I might as well have written Habib or Joe Schmo or whatever. I mean, like they just don't understand that it's the same name.
Exactly.
And I've had so many problems with just writing because of the fact that I write Ron rather than Ronald. Right.
It sounds weird, but yeah, that would definitely be a piece of advice I would give to people.
No, I'm not Donald McDonald. No.
Decide what your name is if you're moving to Japan.
Yeah, that's
decide right off the bat.
But my biggest bit of advice right off the bat is to use the name that's on your passport for everything. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And actually, the weird follow up to this is like my bank card is Kony.
Cooney.
Like they did it with a katakana ko.
Oh, yeah.
But I got my bank account before I could read or speak any Japanese.
Yeah.
And so they said, "Oh, yeah, this is your name in katakana." I was like, "All right."
But
and
then, of course, it's ku, not ko,
it's
right?
It's ku, not ko.
Yeah.
And now, like all of my invoices and stuff I do for people, like I have to be clear. Like now on the invoice, on the banking information, it's ko, not ku, because a lot of people think it's a mistake or a typo, and they change it when they do the bank information.
Yeah. Who decides the katakana translation of your name? That's a very good question. I actually asked the exact same thing when I came to Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
And I came over with an eikaiwa, with an English school, and the head teacher was the one that brought me to my bank to set me up for my bank account. And we sat down, and I was like, well, my last name is Scott, right? My name is Ron Scott, and so Scott. So in the katakana, the translation is Scotto. Scotto is Scotto, right? And so I was what would Ian? Ian.
Like N, right, the letter N is its own syllable.
Yeah. So it's N and M, which is the same. So for me, I was like, well, who decided that it's Scotto and not, for example, Scotta or Scottu? Or, you know what I mean? Like, who decided that? Because, of course, that O at the end is not part of my name.
No.
But
there has to be that sound.
There has to be a vowel in every single syllable. So I was like, well, who decided that it's to and not? And so, but they're like, oh, well, that's just the way it is. Like, well, how do you know? I mean, what if my name has never been translated before? Exactly. How would you possibly know that, right? So, and it's just someone some long time ago decided that there's like probably some sort of grammar rules according to what goes this way.
The other one though, like with that, this is something only people in Japan would know. But have you ever met like Matto from Toronto?
Matto, yeah, Toronto, yeah. That's
for some reason, I have no fucking idea why. They refuse to put the O
on Toronto.
Toronto, Orlando.
Because I'm near. I am near Toronto. Like my hometown is Hamilton, which is close to Toronto. and people say, "Oh, you're from Toronto." And I was like, no, Toronto. I mean, it's
but the
just...
thing is, like, that's how it should be said. But they think that the O isn't supposed to be there, that's like a Japanese extra O that was added. It's like, no, that O is okay.
Yeah, so they drop the O's that they should say, but they don't say the ones that they don't. But they do say the ones that they shouldn't. London, of course. London, Ontario, of course. I went to London. I went to London many times. I partied in London. London is the party town. in Western.
Yeah.
My friend went to Western. So.
I think there's a lot of people in New Orleans who might disagree with London, Canada being the party town.
we had actually a friend of mine. We went to go visit my friend who was going to Western. And we went for this big party town in London, Ontario, and we were like, "Where's the party town? And where's the party in London? We heard London was the party town." And people were like, "You heard it wrong, man." It was middle of winter, and there was like this. We saw this girl who was like making fun of us, but she like had this like frozen booger on her nose. It was really funny.
The only thing I can really honestly say about Canada that is kind of true is like French Canadian girls are slutty.
That's, well, it's not French Canadian. It's London, which is Ontario, so there's no French. It's not French Canadian. It's Anglophone stuff.
No.
Yeah. So
still Canadian girls are slutty.
Yeah. All rolled through. And I heard my friend of mine on Facebook just said that she went something. For those of you those Americans,
I liked Labatt's. When I lived upstate New York, I used to drink a lot of Labatt's.
Labatt's actually. It's
whatever.
Labatt's.
I drank it. I didn't give speeches about it.
Canadian beer does not suck. Canadian beer is awesome. It's awesome. You ever try Keith's and Moosehead is great.
I used to drink Molson and Labatt's. Because upstate New York, I mean, we're so close to the border. That's the majority of what we would drink. Like, it's Canadian.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Canadian beer is. We're very proud of Canadian beer, but it's funny that Canadian beer is not imported or exported. Not imported. It's not exported. It's not imported to Japan. No matter where I go in Japan, I cannot find Canadian beer. There was until recently. There was a Canadian bar here in Tokyo, which then was shut down by the Yakuza.
No, that's not what happened.
Oh no, it was like the guy spent all the money on Hostess bars. Yeah, Hostess bars. That's what it is. Yeah. So, but even the Canadian bar, you could only get Labatt Blue.
Yeah.
There was only one kind, So I mean, like even in that case, you couldn't get most Canadian beers, which is really sad because there's a lot of very good Canadian beers.
Oh,
yeah.
But actually, I used to do a comedy show at that bar.
What did he spend his money on? He spent his money on Hostess bars, which is basically like you pay money to go to a bar and just talk to women.
There was two owners, both of whom were former English teachers, who had like gotten investors, pulled their money together, opened this Canadian bar, and it was doing well. It was running for a while.
Yeah, it was really.
And then
there was a comedy store. There was like a stand-up comedy there.
Oh, our comedy show was going great there. But like there was a daytime guy and then the nighttime guy, and the nighttime guy, Stephen Black, I think was his name. Was just drunk all the time. This big, huge, fat guy, and he's. I remember like this is a normal conversation with Stephen Black. He was a fascinating guy, but he had like, I heard this so many fucking times. He had like the 5 truths about Japanese women, and like over the course of the night, he'd slowly piece them out one by one to you, like some sort of sage advice. And like the one is like I remember something was like Japanese women are all lesbians.
Oh, okay.
Japanese women have the greatest underwear in the world. But it's like they were kind of true. But anyway, he was just a character. But I remember one time we're sitting there. He's like, "Yeah, I have diabetes," and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Everything was just getting like really blurry." And it was like a year or so that I couldn't see stuff, and cuts weren't starting to heal. So I went to the doctor. She's like, "Yeah, you have diabetes." I was like, "Oh, that sucks."
Okay.
Drink beer,
Totally, just related on that. It's a totally different story, but they just remind me of the story. I was actually at work the other day, and my student was saying that, oh yeah, my daughter has a cold and she's got diabetes, and I was like, what do you mean? She's like, she's got, and she was like making this gesture like diabetes, like this.
How do you do a gesture?
The gesture was like diabetes, and I was like, I think you mean diarrhea. And she was like, I said, no, not diabetes. She has diarrhea, right?
So strangely, Japanese people have no problem telling you if they have diarrhea.
Yeah.
There's no social thing against that. They're like, yes, I have the diarrhea today.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It's funny is like they would mix up diabetes and diarrhea, which is too.
It's a bit different in terms of mental illness. Anyway, this guy Steven was apparently just going out every night for about a month, 2 months, and spending all of the money that was supposed to go towards rent for the bar and like paying the liquor supplier and stuff like that. He was just spending it all on hostess bars and prostitutes and things like that. And then one day, the day manager shows up at the bar, and there's like a big chain padlock on the front of the door. And he's like, what the hell? Yeah. And he calls up the Oya-san. He's like, what the hell? Why is my door, my bar chained? He's like, well, you guys haven't paid rent in like 2 months. And so immediately starts calling, trying to find Steven, who just disappeared. And like no one saw Steven again.
He's just like gone.
Just gone.
He disappeared into the land of the hostess bars. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He seriously. Well, I mean, I heard people said that he's still in Tokyo somewhere.
Oh, really?
But he just kind of went underground.
Hiding out.
I think he just kind of like a mental breakdown. You know?
Yeah. The interesting thing about the Canadian bar I was thinking about is that the same phenomenon that happens with any like ethnic bar, like other country bar that is in another country, which is that it's funny because I mean, being Canadian, I walk in and I was like, oh, Canadian bar, that's great. But of course, it's very like stereotypical, like what people who are not Canadians think of Canada. It was like there's like a big moose head hanging on the wall, and all the walls were like you know, wood paneling, and there was like, you know, wood tables made of like rough wood and stuff like that, right? And you know, and there was hockey sticks and stuff on the wall. And
actually, one of my former guests on the show, one of my former guests on the show, if you go look at the old video archive, you can find Adrian, who's now a bartender at Geronimo's in Roppongi. He used to be the bar manager of the Maple Leaf. He like ran the bar there. So if you want to, I think he had some stories about those days in the archive videos I have there, but I don't remember.
Yeah. And so, but I mean, I was really excited to go to I was like, oh, Canadian beer, Canadian food. So all they had was like the one was just Canadian Labatt's Blue beer, and then their only food that they had was poutine. And for those of you who don't know what poutine is, it's basically like it's a French Canadian food, which is French fries with gravy and cheese curds. But it was so terrible. Yeah, I mean, their version was terrible. Poutine is actually very, very good, but their version was really cold and like kind of.
It's like calling that a food though. It's like it's on the complicated level of like cat food.
Yeah.
It's like open the can to pour it out. It's not exactly like one of the. It's a great dish though. Actually,
a lot of people say that poutine
there is another place that has poutine though. There's another place.
Oh really?
Yeah, Becker's hamburger shop. The one over there.
Oh really?
Yeah, they have.
Is it good?
I think it's I think it's beef gravy, cheese, and fries, but it's not. No, it's not. It's like fast food.
Because the point is that it's not cheese; it's cheese curds. Right. So that's the thing is that the Maple Leaf did cheese curds, but it was really like kind of like old and kind of congealed a little bit, so it wasn't quite as good.
The biggest problem, and the reason there's not more of these types of restaurants and places in Japan, the hardest thing is sourcing the stuff, finding people who can deliver consistently over the years. Like the same product. I mean, because sometimes stores that have foreign goods, like they'll get it in for like a couple months, but then it'll be gone again. Like, you know, a lot of the expat foods and stuff, like stores only carry it for a brief time, so you can't go putting it on a menu if it's going to disappear in a week. So you need a supplier that can keep it coming for like a year or plus.
We deep fry cheese curds. Oh, nice. Deep fried cheese curds. Wisconsin.
That's good.
I drove through Wisconsin.
With a little beef gravy dipping sauce.
Actually, I'm Scottish. Actually, yeah. So, but my last name being Scott, which literally means one who is a Scottish. One who is Scottish. Yeah. So
just in case, just to
push
the point home.
Yeah, that's yeah. So so my family's mostly Scottish. So yeah. I'm not true Scotsman. No, yeah. So I'm an English teacher. Yeah. So as well. I mean, as most foreigners in Tokyo are. Except I have about 7 jobs actually.
Yeah.
I have 7, but most of us kind of like pick and choose in several different things. I do like a lot of like some private lessons. I teach kids a lot. I also do this. I work for this company, which is really fun. Actually, they teach kids, but I have like 3 different jobs. I teach kids classes, but they also have a section where I go in for 3 hours a day and I sing songs to kids on the phone.
Oh, you work for World Family?
World Family, yeah, I work for World Family. Yeah, so with Layla and. No, I have never tried that, I guess, but one of these days I will. So basically I just go, on the telephone, and the kids call up and say, I want to sing the ABC song, so you sing the ABC song for them. And,
actually, I know a lot of people who do that job. It's really good money, and
it's very good. Yeah,
you can do it without pants as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like you sit in your apartment and you like call up the kids at the designated time and say, like, what song do you want to sing?
You actually have better like technology than they do. You even have a webcam. They don't even have web, so it's just you just sit there with like your t-shirt and like people are like nothing on and
it's a really cool company though.
It's a very cool company. And then I also have another job with the same company where I tour around Japan doing kids shows. Kids shows. So yeah. So I've been in Japan to answer your question about 3.5 years. The ABC song, yeah. So, so 3.5 years. I came in July 2005. 2005, 2006,
2006.
No, 2005, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 2005. Yeah, 2005. Can you sing us a song? A B C D E F G. I haven't warmed up. But how much does private tutoring pay? That's a good question. That depends on you. I mean, it depends on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can there's a lot of ways to find private lessons.
Generally speaking, women can charge more for private lessons because there's fewer of them, and a lot of people feel more comfortable being taught by a woman.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people who don't. It's like, oh, I don't want to meet with a man.
So if you're a woman, like to some extent, the sky's the limit. Like, but another thing that's kind of weird is if you charge like 2,000 yen, you'll definitely get students.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
But in a weird way, like
it's not really worth it almost. Yeah.
People don't want to have you as a teacher because they're like, wow, 2,000 yen.
It's too cheap.
There must be something wrong with him.
So
like if I teach a private lesson, like my starting point is 4,000 yen. Like
I charge 4 too. Yeah.
Like,
I charged 3 once and it was too little. So
yeah, but the thing is, it's hard to find students who want to pay that. But like, people will pay it.
So it's like 40, yeah, it's like
I know people who charge 5 or 6,000.
Yeah, so it's before. Yeah, I have a friend who charges 5, and I'm actually thinking of raising my price if I get any more private lessons. But the working hours for Will Family, by the way, are it depends on the job, but the telephone job is actually on the evenings, so it's after all the kids get home from school, so it's 6 to 9:30 at night kind of thing. So it's pretty.
So basically, I just want to remind this point again. What Hilsey says, the more you charge, the better you appear. Japan is very based on like looks or how it appears. So like, if it costs a lot, this is like why they love brand goods. Like if it costs a lot, well then it must be a good product. Like there's a really kind of ridiculous faith in that if something is expensive, it must be good.
So yeah, so that's why I read a statistic that 50% of all Japanese women have a Louis Vuitton bag. Yeah. So I mean, just because it's expensive, kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah.
And often it's true. If it is an expensive thing, it is high quality.
So, therefore, it must be good, right? Kind of thing. So
but
as opposed to the Japanese school day, I think that depends on the school. I think generally they're like 8 to 3 or something. Maybe something. I don't really. I'm not in a ALT, so I don't work in the public school system. So I don't know.
I don't know much about public schools.
I don't really know much about that, so I'm not sure how. But I think it usually finishes about 8 to 3 or something. So So.
But that's the other thing is like if you're doing freelancing stuff like that, like teaching private students. Often people don't pay taxes on it, and that becomes a huge problem when you want to renew your visa because you need to show that you've paid taxes to renew your visa. Or even getting an apartment, you have to show like your tax slip to the building owner if you want to get an apartment, something like that.
Have you ever had a student come on to you?
That's a really important thing. So you have to be careful if you're trying to develop a life here. Not to just do private lessons. You have to be attractive. And also, people flake out. Like people cancel. It's a.
And there's another thing is that for tax purposes, it gets a little bit sticky because most private lessons tend to be kind of under the table, kind of like cash. So you have to.
Like you're supposed to declare.
You have to declare a certain amount of money, and then you have to. And so I mean, there's no real paper trail for those kind of things. So you have to be careful with how much you claim and how much you do, and how you deal with it. Maybe someone wants like receipts, and if not, kind of thing. And so I do private lessons only very, very little. I do like a couple, and I do like other ones kind of as my main thing, and I kind of do it as a kind of an under the table, and I claim it, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, you have to claim your taxes, but so that was kind of thing. So I also one actually wrote Eon. Actually, Eon was the Eikaiwa I came over with. So
I came over with the dreaded Nova. Some 7 years ago.
What kind of taxes do you have to pay for that? But I mean, you have to pay taxes on all your jobs. Basically, the same idea, right? So you have to claim, but don't pay taxes on cash. So that's why you have to claim. You're supposed to claim it. You're supposed to claim it.
But for me to sum up briefly, teaching English, for the most part in Asia, I can say it in this: it's the easiest job you will ever hate.
Yeah. Well, it's like the telephone job that I do. I mean, it's the easiest job in the entire world. Literally, I sit there and I do like crosswords. Well, and you like you're like, how did I just finish singing? Like, you actually read a script. Like, sometimes you have lessons, and you basically you sing, and you'll zone out so much that you don't even realize what you've just been saying or what you've just been doing. So, so it's literally you have to. It's hard to focus because it's so boring, but it's so easy and it pays so well. That it's very,
the biggest thing that gets people in is like. And it's hard. I mean, people say that they won't happen to them, but I've seen it happen to so many people. Like, you start losing a sense of purpose in your life because you're doing a job that means nothing to you. And then they start becoming bitter and almost angry towards the students. And it's this like spiral downwards until they become horrible teachers and they're negative. And that's why actually on the internet there's a lot of bullshit about, you know, English teachers in Japan are terrible people, because a lot of people come over and they get sucked into that like downward spiral of like meaninglessness in their life. So I mean, if you're teaching and you're really enjoying it and you're helping your students and you really feel like a quality of life, because I mean, both my parents are teachers. I've been a high school teacher in the States. I've been taught here as well. Like, it's really fulfilling if you feel like you're doing something. You know. But a lot of the eikaiwas, like the big English schools, you don't get that feeling, and people really they lose a sense of purpose in their life, and they become very embittered and negative people.
When I worked at Eon, some of the eikaiwas are very, very big on in terms of the structure, and that it has to be exactly this way because it's the way that they decided. So you have to. It was like literally down to like you have 6 minutes to do the listening section, then you have 8 minutes to do the dialogue, and it was like, and you really it's like so boring. And I don't understand why the students would even think that was interesting. I mean, I thought it was really boring, and when it came down to it, it was like there's really started to make me like lose faith in life, just because it was like, what am I doing with my life? I'm spending like years of my life just sitting around like doing 6 minutes for listening section. You know what I mean? I mean, it didn't feel like it was doing anything. You know what I mean? So,
and some people can like do like a meaningless job and they get through it by saying like, yeah, but I enjoy my other parts of my life in Japan. But I mean, to be honest, like for me, I mean, I could not work at an eikaiwa.
Not an eikaiwa.
It would be too soul crushing.
I like teaching English. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
at this point, I mean, then I put in like 4 years of solid English teaching. So.
Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy it. And actually, strangely enough, I mean, I actually trained to be a therapist. Actually, is what I have a master's degree in therapy, and so I have a master's. I have a master's degree in therapy. So typically, I should be doing something else, which pays a lot better. But but I came to Japan kind of on a whim, and then I just started teaching. And
boy.
My mother was an elementary school teacher for. I started getting so jaded about it, and I always vowed that I would never ever be a teacher. And so here I am, and I found actually that I actually really enjoy it, and I'm actually better at it than I thought. So I actually really enjoy it. But I mean, sometimes it's the way you do it, though. You have to kind of really keep your face why you're doing it.
But both my parents were teachers, and they loved it. And I mean, of course they hate some parts of it, but like it's essentially they had, I think, good careers, and they helped a lot of kids, and they had a lot of meaning in their life. You know, my dad coached. They both coached sports teams.
Keep it fresh, exactly. Just keep it fresh and keep it interesting for you.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
but then that was a career. Unfortunately, most of the people you find teaching at I shouldn't say most. I don't know. Like people teaching at like big English schools in Asia are people who have never had another job in their life before.
And to answer the question before is that you don't need a teaching degree, and for most eikaiwas,
you don't need a teaching degree. You just
need to be a native speaker. Which is the big problem, I think, because a lot of people don't know how to
any degree from a 4-year university.
I mean, some of them you don't even need that. You need a high school diploma, and I mean, a lot of it has to do with, which is really kind of the main problem with a lot of it, which is that people don't know what they're doing, right? You know, and so they go and their only qualification is that they are an English speaker, but they don't actually know how to teach English at all, right? Which doesn't really help anyone, right? Kind of thing, right? So it's
Well, that's the other thing. Like I know personally, like I think for like 6 months, when I was at Nova, they basically said, okay, you're going to teach kids now, and I got like a half day of training to teach on how to teach kids. And I was completely incompetent, and I had no idea how to do it. I felt completely like unprepared for it, and so I just called in sick every day that I was scheduled to teach kids. I racked up like 25 sick days in 1 year, and because they said like I'm not going to do it, like I'm not qualified to teach children, and they're like, well, you have to do it, or you know.
But it's
so I was like, all right, well, I'm not coming in on the days that I'm teaching kids.
My background is teaching kids. Like I cruise ship for 3 years. Where I basically worked with kids. The whole background was really working with kids, and when I came here, I started working with Eikaiwa, and then they had all these kids classes, and I hated it. I really hated it because, and it wasn't the kids that I hate, because it's not like that I don't like working with kids. I like working with kids now.
Yeah, you're a pedophile.
Yeah, exactly right. Anyway, the point was that the structure, the type of class was so boring. It was so that it didn't work for kids, and it made me hate working with kids.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I mean, the whole point with teaching, very important, is to make it fun for you, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you gotta make it fun, interesting, and informative for the student. But number one rule is make it fun for you. You gotta amuse yourself.
But that was the thing with the kids. I was just stressed out
No, I never
because
got conchoed. No,
I didn't feel like competent to do it, so it gave me stress because I don't like doing a job that I don't know how to do, and so for you it's very stressful. But then other people are just like, ooh. Let's hang out, kids. Kids don't understand irony or sarcasm well enough for me to relate to them properly.
Love adults don't.
That's true.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing with irony and sarcasm with kids, is that you can do it, and it's a lot funnier because there's no chance of them understanding. Sometimes adults, they can't maybe understand, or they misunderstand, right? With kids, they just kind of like, and then that makes it funnier sometimes.
But to be honest, I mean, I'll state it right now that I'm not going to be surprised. At some point, like, some kid is going to get raped by some freaky, strange-ass foreigner, and it's going to be a shitstorm. It's going to come down on us gaijins for living here. I mean, like, when I was teaching high school in the States, I had to have my fingerprints checked by the fucking FBI. The FBI fingerprinted me to check that I was not, like, a rapist in another state or something like that. Like, at English schools here, God, if any rapists and pedophiles are out there listening, please don't take any info from this. Like, there's like, oh, hey, we have a foreigner from another country who just got off the plane. Let's put him unsupervised in a room full of children he can't communicate with.
Yeah, really.
It's like, are you joking? This is such a legal nightmare, but for some reason, no one apparently...
No one cares about this stuff.
No one cares about this, but like, that's a huge thing. And like, if it was a Japanese school, they would never let an unqualified, unchecked Japanese person teach a classroom of kids. But, oh no, it's okay. He's a foreigner from another country. We don't know anything about his past. Put him in the room full of 5-year-olds.
Yeah, that's the...
it makes me furious.
Yeah,
like, and if I had kids here, I would never allow them to go through a system like that.
I'm very, very big on, like safety and, background checks and stuff like that. Very big on... My background was safety with kids and stuff like that. And the fact that they would... Some of the things that they just allow the situations for kids to be in is just...
I'm just pissed off because I know some cradle robber is going to not be able to resist the urge, and then there's going to be this stigma attached to all foreign men in Japan that we're also pedophiles. I mean, we're not. The ones in Thailand are all pedophiles, but the ones in Japan,
of course, not Japan. That's why we're here, right?
We're like the adult ones.
So,
but it's going to happen eventually. I can't believe it hasn't happened already.
Yeah.
Right now, it's mostly been the U.S. military attacking some Okinawan team.
Yeah.
And I have hair long enough so I don't look like a guy in the military. So I escaped that.
And I say A, so I don't get
Actually, I'm from New York, and Ron is from Canada. Do you know the difference between people from New York and Canada?
I'm afraid to ask.
Canadians say, "How you doing, eh?" And New Yorkers say, "Hey, how you doing?" Just the A.
A is
moved to the beginning of the sentence.
Yes, we are awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So, the TUJ, I teach at TUJ, Temple University.
Oh, really? We've got a number of TUJ students here right now.
So I teach in the continuing education department, which is a class on fluency and rhythm, which is actually very difficult to teach.
It's funny. Actually, my opinion on continuing education has changed completely.
Oh, really?
Because I think when I was in the States, I was very much the opinion that any adult who's still going to school is some kind of retard. Like, people who are going to, like, night school or something like that. I always feel like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Vocational school.
Like, But actually, in Japan, like, everybody is trying to better themselves in some way. I met, like, 89-year... I've met people in their 90s taking, like, continuing education classes.
Absolutely,
And, like, you want to be like, dude, you're going to be dead before you need this. What's the point? but it's like there's a real sense of people saying like, yeah, I'm out of school officially, but hell, why not continue learning something?
Exactly. Well,
And they find all sorts of random things like aromatherapy and like cat wrangling.
But at least in the English for continuing education tends to be just almost like another eikaiwa for people, except it's more of like a specific eikaiwa kind of thing, right? Yeah. I mean, like mine is just an English class just to teach, just work on that one particular thing, right? Area kind of thing. But yeah, but you're absolutely right. Like aromatherapy and anything like that. It's just like,
and they get a license at the end of the course,
thing,
you know.
Right?
But it's cool that people like say, hey, you know, I'm 40, but I kind of want to. I've always wanted to learn how to.
Exactly,
like,
there's nothing wrong with it. If you made up, doesn't stimulate. Exactly, so there's nothing wrong with learning something new. And I've always been one for continuing to learn. And so.
But I can't imagine like a 50-year-old like American just saying like, hey, you know what? I'd always like to learn about aromatherapy. I think I'm gonna start taking classes. I'm gonna go down to the new school in New York or some things like that. People do, but it's not as accepted as it is here. I think people say like I'm going to night classes with almost a little bit of shame or something like that in the U.S.
Yeah. It says a question about the age expectancy in Japan. Actually, I'm not sure what that is. I think it's
now
like
it's 86.
86, yeah, something like that.
86, 87 for women.
I think it's a little bit more than
yeah.
I think it's a little bit more, but
and also Americans break down by race is totally different as well.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm surprised that it's so high because of the smoking laws are so far behind. But
if they didn't smoke, they'd never die.
That's true.
The men's age is lower than women as well. Men's is like 83 or
Japanese women, I think, is one of the highest life expectancies in the world.
This is fascinating, and this is true almost throughout the world. Almost without exception.
Never retire, ever.
But this is almost without exception. The longest living people in the world are single women. Second is married women. Third is married men. And last is single men. And it's something like 78.3 for men. But it's actually higher for married men, lower for single men. And like single women is the highest.
And I think
but married women is lower. And technically it's because like childbirth is stressful to the body. But like it's like women by getting married are having like a couple of years of their life force drained out of them and put into the men. You know? So actually, like, if you get married, like this guy is actually going to take about 2 years off of my life expectancy.
I mean, in reality, I'm pretty sure it has to do a lot with like the single men don't know how to cook, so they end up like eating like pre-prepared like fried food and stuff.
There's this guy in like his 80s, and I always see him at my little convenience store. It's like his wife has clearly died, and now he has no idea what to do. Like, so I see him in the convenience store, and like he'll buy like 2 things of like sake in the little paper boxes, and then like a fried chicken from like the fried food thing, and like a donut set. Like that's his dinner.
Yeah.
It's just like,
every day. That's the thing that happens. Yeah, so
he just goes to the convenience store. He eats everything.
Yeah.
And he's in like his 80s. Like he's not going to necessarily start cooking. He's not going to become Graham Kerr all of a sudden because his wife died.
Yeah. So that's also, if you're going to come to Japan, I recommend that you learn how to cook at least a little bit, just because it's very easy to eat the bentos, which are like pre-prepared lunch boxes, but most of them are not so healthy. There are some of them, but a lot of them are like tonkatsu, which is like fried meat, basically, and stuff like that, right? And a lot of it ends up being. Most people say that when you come to Japan, you lose weight. I think I heard that, but actually it was the opposite. When you come to Japan, even though all the food is very healthy, or it's healthy,
you
end up eating a lot of junk food. And actually, when I came, I actually gained like 10 pounds when I came. And
I ate McDonald's like 2 or 3 meals a day.
Exactly, you eat McDonald's
like in the beginning.
a day, yeah. So I mean, you end up because you don't know what to eat. And all the food is so strange, and you don't know what is okay or whatever. So you end up eating the things you know, which ends up being McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Comment by Turi, a perfect example. Some men totally depend on their women. To the point, and I think like in Western marriages, nobody really does this, but it does happen, seriously still happen in Japanese relationships. Like the woman will get out his clothing for like the husband and like lay it out on the bed for him so he gets dressed. And literally I have heard stories of like the day after like the wife died, the guy can't find where his socks are in his own house because she's not there to find his socks in the morning. So like he doesn't know how to get dressed in the morning because he can't find where the clothing is in the house.
I thought you had a resolution to give up junk food.
Oh yeah, no. Now I'm not eating junk food at all.
So,
totally not.
Yeah. But when you first come, like literally, like I don't really eat McDonald's that much. But when I first came, of course, you're like, oh, I don't know what else to eat. Oh, there's McDonald's. Yeah. Kind of thing. So.
Also, you have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. A lot. Yeah.
It's like, oh, where's the McDonald's? I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. But there's always McDonald's everywhere, and McDonald's is the best because whenever you need to go to the bathroom, it's always.
Yeah, it tastes the same. I think.
Yeah.
I actually.
There's a little bit different in McDonald's between Western. I mean, it's a little bit more of a Western. I mean, they have like teriyaki burgers and stuff like that, and actually just like a couple months ago, they finally got the double quarter pounder cheese. I'm excited about it. I haven't eaten it yet, but like when I was in Canada, I used to, if I went, I'd always eat the double quarter. They never had it because it was too big. It was too much. So that they smaller and in moderation here. So it was just like literally like last month. I think they just got it here. So. It's more like for the Japanese taste kind of thing, right? So, no, they're not cleaner. It's just easier to get to. Yeah. Because like usually when you're walking down the street, you're like, okay, where's one? I need one. Oh, there's McDonald's. Yeah, so it's a lot of places you feel like you maybe need to buy something when you're there. McDonald's, I never feel like I need to buy something. I feel
like they owe me.
Yeah, they owe me.
I have such a back record with them. Like, come on, let me show you my phone card.
Yeah, you know there's a bathroom there, and you know that it's okay if you don't buy something. Like if I come into a coffee shop, I feel like I should probably buy a coffee before I use their bathroom kind of thing. But yeah, so.
But actually, speaking of bentos, like we met. We're both in this like NHK show, like as like carbon props. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Actors.
Yeah. I want to call that. It's like high school skits or something. Yeah.
But like yesterday, we had a read through, and we were there like 12 hours almost.
Well, I left at 6, but
you left early.
I was still there like 8 hours though. So.
Were you there for dinner?
No, I grabbed dinner. I left just as they started serving dinner. So.
But it's like a full day. I was there, from like 10 till I guess like 8 or 9 at night, and like it was just bento for lunch, and then like a sandwich like box for dinner, and like I've had like you have a number of those days in a week. It gets like depressing. Like I took the oyakudon yesterday.
Okay, yeah.
They have a little selection of different bentos to eat. I got like a third of the way into it.
I know she didn't eat.
And I just couldn't finish it. It's like a mental block. I can't eat so many bentos anymore. I just get tired of them, and because they look different, but they all taste the same somehow. It's like everything on a fast food menu, if it's chicken, fish, or whatever, it basically all tastes the same. It's the same with bentos, and it's like.
And the lunch bentos yesterday.
I mean, I also don't want to be like I'm sorry. Can I just go out and get something to eat by myself? Because I don't want to be like a little princess. I can't eat the bento. I know it's a free lunch, but
that's the thing is that they don't understand. Like I mean, like I was there for one day for the filming, and I had like a 9-hour break between scenes. But you're not allowed to leave. It's like 9 hours. Like I can go and do another job and come back. I can go home and like. Do anything. I could go to an amusement park and go on a few roller coasters and come back over in that. But I mean, no, you can't leave the building, right? And I was like, but it doesn't make any sense, So it's the same idea as that. But
who knows? Like, if someone like died mid filming and they wanted to change the order of the set scenes or something like that.
So, but yesterday was the also. I like eggs. To a degree, but I'm not like a big egg person kind of thing. And so yesterday's lunch.
Eggs are not just for breakfast anymore.
Yeah, eggs were the theme for lunch yesterday. Everything had egg in it, and so they were all worried because I told them before that. One strange thing I found is that sandwiches here in Japan, everything has egg salad in it.
Yeah.
Everything. It doesn't matter if it could be a ham sandwich, but
they almost use it like a
with
spread.
egg salad in it. And everything has egg salad, and I hate egg salad with a passion. It's the only food that'll actually make me gag.
I'm the same way.
And so I can never eat sandwiches like from convenience stores because everything has egg salad put into it, and for some reason. And so one day I was at the HK, we were at filming, I think, and so they brought sandwiches, and it was like, I don't know, it was BLT or turkey or something. I was like, oh, okay, great. And I got it, and it had like a layer of like egg salad in it, and I was like, it's disgusting. So I told them, I was like, I'm sorry, I can't eat this because I really got it. And so then yesterday they were all really worried because it was like everything had egg in it. They're like, "Who can you eat?" I was like, "I can eat egg. I just can't eat salad."
The thing is, like, I'm the same way. Like, I just don't tell them because I know they're gonna freak out.
Yeah.
Like, but actually, I have the same thing with egg salad. I remember as a teenager, my friend had a cabana at the beach, and I'd go hang out with his family there, and his mom would always make this like egg salad that was like 10% like by weight made of sand from the beach. And just to be eating the egg salad, it's like this crunchy little bits of quartz grinding up against your teeth. It was nasty.
Let's talk about Japan's in a big salad. I'm just saying that egg salad is in everything in Japan.
I kind of want to talk about egg salad some more, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's the so yeah. Is that I was really surprised. One shop that I had when I came to Japan, which is
it's not a movie. It's a TV show. It's an educational TV show.
Yeah, it's NHK is the public broadcasting television here, and so they there's 2 channels.
It's like Dora the Explorer, but live action.
One channel is all education, and most of it is like English, or not English, but language education. So like you just watch it all day, and it's just like educational shows all day. So the 2 of us were in an English educational show, which is we do like little 30-second punchline skits about some English. I don't know, grammar point or whatever, and then they have like something.
It's fun.
It's not for kids; it's for anyone. I think. I'm not sure what the level is. It's maybe
I don't know,
high beginner or something.
Yeah, it's not very advanced.
Yeah. So, but I mean, but there's some idioms in there as well. So yeah, it's kind of like SNL, but it's not really for kids though. So I think but it's not really because there's actually 3 sketches in each show. It's only a 10-minute show.
Oh, really? They're doing 3 sketches in each show?
Well, that's why there's 300 skits. There's only, remember, it's called Kopasu Hyakude Kaiwa, so there's actually only 100 episodes. But each 10-minute episode has 3 skits. That's why they want to keep it to 30 seconds.
Okay, nice.
Right? Because each skit is only 30 seconds long because they want to fit a minute of half of it.
I didn't know anything about the format.
Yeah, and then the rest of it is all some guy talking, so whatever. So.
But like 300.
Tokyo I actually, our friend Layla is also on Tokyo.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Oh, you're on too. Oh, right. So I didn't know. I've never actually seen it.
I got Layla that job.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah,
I just hear Layla talking about it. I've never actually seen it.
And I still have not gotten, I think, proper thanks. If you know what I mean. Like I know how the industry is supposed to work. And,
we'll talk. Yeah, you have to. Speaking Japanese is also very. Actually, it's Leila. I think, right? Leila.
Leila.
I think can we?
Yeah, she's in the show as well.
She's also in the NHK show. Yeah. So there's something we weren't supposed to say, but her mother calls her. What was it? Cooch Butcher or something?
Cooch Butcher.
No, not Cooch.
Oh, I forgot it now.
Something Butcher is that Cooch Butcher or something like that. So it was like a big secret. She didn't want anyone to tell us. So we wanted to actually put it on the internet so everyone knows. Mother calls her Cooch Butcher.
Actually, later today I'm going to go to her webpage and make a comment like from an anonymous name.
It wasn't Cooch, but it was something Butcher.
Hey, Cooch Butcher.
yeah.
That's going to freak her out. That's totally going to drive her nuts.
Yeah. So
actually, speaking of food, do you want to go get some Mexican?
Yeah, we can get some Mexican.
All right. So basically, like last week, I'm in the same Tully's as I was last week, and we know that the Mexican place down the street has electricity and Wi-Fi.
We do a maid cafe now.
So we're going to go there. Yes, I have been to Maid Cafe. I've got a YouTube video about it.
Oh, really?
Called Akihabara.
I've never actually been there. I'd like to though. It's good.
It's interesting. Like, I'd rather go to like a maid soap land personally.
What episode were you on? We're in many episodes. The title of the show we're in is called Kopasu Hyakude Eikaiwa, which means like corpus is like I don't know. I've never heard of it before.
I don't really understand.
But basically the idea is that it's some university professor decides that there's 100 words and like 300 phrases, which are the most important, essential ones that you should know as an English speaker or learning English. And then it's 100 time. Hyakude means 100 time Eikaiwa English school. So there's 9 of us in the sketches, and each sketch is like between 1 and 4 or 5 people kind of thing. And so we're kind of in maybe third number or something like that.
But you know what though? Like, honest to God truth.
We're right near.
When I first got to Japan and I was sitting around watching TV, like, and I'd see these shows on, I'd be like, oh my god, those disgusting dancing gaijin monkeys.
It's funny because
how low do you have to go to agree to appear on a piece of shit like that?
I actually am an actor. I'm a trained
now,
actor.
Years later,
I studied acting in university. university, and it's funny. Like I come here and I was like, oh, maybe I can get some jobs as acting, but all the jobs for foreigners are like Inky Gaijin #2 in the back, going like like this kind of thing, right? And so ever since I came here, when I started working with Ian, I was telling all my students, keep watching NHK. I will be on NHK someday. You just watch. And so here I am. Finally, I'm on NHK. But of course, I'm still Genki Gaijin #2 in the back.
Yeah, you're a dancing monkey.
I get all the weird parts where like it requires.
Yeah, and actually, I get all the straight parts.
Yeah, the straight.
Like,
And
really
I'm kind of
and he gets all the like freaky weird monkey parts.
Yeah, like I wear like a lot of like strange clothes and like a lot of like big emotions.
Although there's been a couple ones. They got me to dress up as a track star in one thing, and I had to wear like tight, like little tight running shorts and like a little tank top. Oh my god, it was having flashbacks to like junior high school and mental complexes. And like the whole staff is like making fun of me, like, you're so skinny, why don't you eat? I'm like, yeah, this is really great. Yeah. Why, can you psych me out any more before you record me to broadcast to the nation?
And so, one recurring character that I
the only thing I was grateful for was all there's actually a couple of cute girls who work on the show, and they had all gone home. It was like the last thing we shot that day. It's like, oh, thank God the girls were not here to see this.
The one recurring character that I play is this guy named Mark who wears a jean shirt, and I was like, and they don't seem to have this concept. Maybe the costume department doesn't, but that people don't really actually wear jean shirts anymore.
unless they're Russian, or Eastern European.
Have you ever heard of what a Canadian tuxedo? I've never actually heard this being a Canadian, but someone told me about it, that a Canadian tuxedo is someone who wears like a jean jacket and jeans. A jean jacket is called a tuxedo.
A denim suit.
But like, and so I had this like scene where I'm like, oh, I don't understand what women want, and I'm wearing a jean shirt, and so my thought is like, well, don't wear a jean shirt. That's what women want.
That would be the key starting point. Don't dress like you're in an '80s video.
And so I thought it was, I thought it was that, oh, well, I'm only wearing the jean shirt for a couple of skits. So, but they decided that I'd wear this shirt for almost like for several different characters for the entire length of the show. That we don't change the costume. So I'm like, great, I get stuck with the jean shirt for the rest of the
It would be even better if it was like acid wash, ripped.
But the jean shirt is also coupled with a pair
with
of
some
pants.
bedazzler beads on it.
But it's also coupled with a pair of khakis that I have to wear with it, which are actually for about twice the size of my actual waist size. For some reason, they got my size wrong, and they these pants are literally like my waist is here, and it's like the pants are this big, and I have to like bunch them all up, and like my legs are like the legs are like. Here's my legs, and like the pants are like this big, and so I've got this jean shirt and like pants which are like 10 sizes too big for me, and I was like, yeah, like awesome on this, my first time on national television. Woohoo! Awesome. So, all right, let's go get some Mexican.
Yeah, we get some Mexican. So I'm just going to be offline for about 10 minutes while we move to the other place and get seated and plug everything in. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
See you soon.
Different setting.
Hola.
Later.